said, "Do you want a chair?" Really? I don't think you can sit down. Now, y'all, I did not get the coolest name for a doctor, but I brought you a list of some of the coolest names out there. And tonight, my theme is It's All True. So these are all true names. There's Dr. Grunt. He's into gastroenterology. Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania. True. Now, some of y'all remember Dr. Hands. He was an OB-GYN doctor in Amarillo. Yeah. I knew Dr. Payne. She was an OB-GYN doctor in Lubbock. I don't know how her practice was doing. I think she left town. There was Dr. Oh No. He was in Portland, Oregon. He was OB-GYN. And then my favorite out in Nashville was Dr. Stork. True story. She's actually family practice, but she specializes in obstetrics. There was a very, very well-known adolescent psychiatrist, and he practiced at Duke. His name was Dr. Looney. Dr. Hurt, he was an ortho in Jacksonville, Florida. Ophthalmologist, Dr. Blinder. Okay, and my all-time favorite is Joy here. Good, okay? Because my all-time favorite is a urologist. I knew this doctor. His name was Dr. Chop. His first name is Richard. I may do the best I can with Dr. Purl. When people meet me at parties, social events, church, whatnot, they say, well, first they find out I'm a doctor, they're a little surprised. Then they say, well, what kind of doctor are you? And yes, I really have answered, oh, pretty good. Had a good week, been killing the money, hanging in there, doing the best I can. I've been practicing medicine almost 30 years. I don't know when you get to quit practicing. I guess when you retire. Now, surgeons, they have it figured out. Surgeons do not practice, they perform. Yeah, they perform surgery. And in Great Britain, they perform in the operating theater. Yeah. I've done some surgery. They kept saying, quit using your fingers. Oh, but I think 30 years is enough time to have a few funny stories that I can share, but they're all true. Now, if you've ever been my patient, I'm glad you're still alive. Keep on it going. But don't be nervous that any of these stories may actually reflect you, because you are protected under the Health Information Privacy and Portability Act. I cannot say anything that would be personally identifying of you or your medical condition. If you recognize yourself, oh well. I'm really blessed. Everybody wants to come see me. They call up and they say, I need to see the doctor. You may have said that yourself. I want to go and just come running into the room and say, ta-da! Because they don't really want to see me. They want me to see them. Right? Come on, you said it yourself. Okay? I went to the gynecologist this week. True story, I promise. He saw me. Hip is a good thing. Not everybody wants to see me. I had a patient one time, and his mother had to call and make his appointment. She said, that boy of mine won't come in, and he's really sick. We said, well, yes, ma'am, you have him here tomorrow at 10. So we were all kind of sitting there looking at the door. 10 o'clock, in walks a 72-year-old man. His mother was 90 years old. She is still making doctor's appointments. I thought, oh, when will it ever end? I have 3 children. I do not want to make their doctor appointments when I'm 90. Oh. Well, did you know that mother's not always right? It's the truth. Okay, did your mother tell you that chewing gum is going to stay in your body for 7 years?
Yeah.
Really? Really? Where do you think it's going to hide for 7 years? That is one tube, baby. It opens on one end and exits on the other. Okay? One tube. There's no place for chewing gum to be in there 7 years. How about the one about cleaning your ears? Now that one's good for business, okay? Because everything that you do to clean your ears only makes them worse. So no Q-tips, okay? That is not how you clean your ears. Just leave them alone. Actually, I do like those ear candles, but that's not professional advice. If you set your hair on fire, it is not my fault. Oh, you know one thing your mother was right about, though? The importance of clean underwear. I was an emergency room physician for several years, and I had the joy of practicing in the Appalachian Mountains. It is beautiful. We drove out there for the interview. David says, "Do you really want to work here?" I said, "Honey, I'd come here to go camping. They're going to pay me to drive out here and see patients. I can handle this." And I met wonderful people in the Appalachian Mountains. They're hillbillies, okay? I guess the politically correct term for that is rednecks, okay? But really they were like hillbillies. And so I had this man, and he came in, he was having a horrible problem. Horrible problem. He was having bleeding at the other end of that tube we were talking about. And he came in, and he looked me in the eye, and he says, "Doctor, can you help me?" And I said, "Well, I'm sure we can." He says, "But doctor, you don't understand how bad my problem is." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He says, "I'm having to change my underwear every day. You have got to fix this." It's all true, people. I just couldn't even, I couldn't laugh, I couldn't break a smile. I just looked at that sweet man and I said, "Yes, sir, we will help you." And we did. We did. Did you know that alcohol does not make people smarter? I can tell you that it just doesn't happen that way. Back in the mountains, we had a young man, and he was drinking. And his friends decided to play a little practical joke on him. And so they took a bottle of ketchup, and they poured it all over his belly. And then they jumped on him a couple of times. And when he woke up, he had the biggest pain anybody ever had in their belly. And he looked down and he saw the ketchup and he thought, "Oh my God, I'm dying." And so they came racing into the emergency room. You know, the emergency rooms has protocols for this kind of stuff. And so they started in on their stuff, and he got an IV in this arm, and he got a blood pressure cuff on this one, and I think they were fixing to put something down his nose. And one of the people smelled something, and they got a little thing, and they started wiping, and they said, "Why, this is just ketchup." The man almost went to the operating room with ketchup on his stomach. You know, people lie to their doctors. I don't know why they lie to us. Do they think we are just stupid? I mean, we are highly educated, highly trained people. Are we just stupid? Hey, by the way, do you know what they call the guy who graduates last in his medical school class? Doctor. Hey, it wasn't me. Just saying, okay? They lie to us. We know they lie. Did you take all your antibiotics? Oh, yeah. I took that whole bottle of pills. Y'all are being quiet. I know you said that. I took them all. You betcha I took them all. How about the one with the people with the nosebleeds, okay? They're in the emergency room, they've got a horrible nosebleed, and you say, "What were you doing when your nose started bleeding?" "Nothing." So did you pick your nose? No, I never pick my nose. People pick their nose. Y'all are still in denial. You know, God made the finger fit in the nose. I don't think it's a sin, okay? Will you just do it? People lie about their age. And this goes on everywhere. Everywhere they lie about their age. I was in Ethiopia. We were in a clinic in the middle of nowhere. Okay? And these people bring up their little pieces of paper and it's all written in whatever that language is they talk over there. I don't understand a word of it. And all I can read on there is it says this woman is 16 years old. And her hair is grayer than mine. And her wrinkles, she was holding up a little better than I am, but still. There was no way this lady was 16 years old. Well, in those little clinics, sometimes they will steal the papers. Well, maybe not steal, but they will borrow somebody else's paper to get in to see the doctor. But the medicine goes out to whoever's name is on the paper. So it's really important that the person has the right paper, or she's going to get the medicine for some 16-year-old, okay? So I was working with a translator, and this translator was the sweetest, most godly man you can imagine. He was a school teacher. And it was very difficult to talk to this lady because she spoke one of the tribal dialects. And then, so he was having to get somebody to translate it from that into Accra, and then from Accra into English. Okay? So I'm sitting there, and I'm telling you, I could have done my nails, had lunch, and still they were just talking. All I'm trying to do is find out how old the woman is. Okay? And they're talking and talking and talking. Finally, exasperated, this sweet, godly man looks at me and he says, "She is a very ignorant woman." This was a Christian clinic. Okay, she's a very ignorant woman. She likes the number 16, so that's what she picked for her age. Works for me, you know? We just left it alone. How about the other? This is a U.S. story. This is a Texas story. This is a Hale Center story. Had a guy come into the emergency room 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, okay? And his leg is broken in half, right there. Okay? Did y'all see that? It was right there, in half. Okay. So he's in some distress, to say the least, okay? I think he's one of those that wasn't smarter that night. Know what I mean? Okay. So he's got his leg broken in half. And, of course, what does the doctor always say? What happened? He said, "I hurt my leg playing volleyball." True story. Volleyball? Really? That was his story. He stuck to it. Had a guy in the emergency room in Borger. He came in with a huge abscess. Right there. Okay? He was right-handed. Huge abscess. Right there. Okay? His story, mosquito bites. So do you do drugs? No, ma'am. Because doctors are just stupid, right? Yeah. You know? True stories. So let's see. Do I have any more true stories? I think I am about out, y'all. This is when you're supposed to applaud. I will tell you, it is a privilege to be a doctor. People let you into their lives, they let you into their hearts, they let you into their families. And you can be there in the best of times, and you can be there in the worst of times. But people are just incredibly kind to let you in. And sometimes God will use that. He'll give you a word of encouragement, a word of hope. He'll give me just love to share with people. And it is such a blessing. And I've said, if I have to do it for free, I will always be a doctor. Now, if it turns really bad, though, I would like to think about stand-up comedy. Yeah. You know, right?